In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean Diddy Combs.
Kooky, and it seems like they're just leaning into it. Like there's no course correction at all. Just leaning into the kooky.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Sean Diddy KS is back in the spotlight, but this time it's not for his music or parties. It's for a courtroom battle that has taken a dramatic turn. His high-powered legal team is pulling out all the stops to challenge the evidence against him, claiming a major procedural blunder by law enforcement. This move could potentially set a groundbreaking precedent, shaking the justice system. With stakes at their highest, Diddy's defense is raising doubts about the validity of the prosecution's case. As his lawyers flip the script, the outcome remains uncertain, leaving many to wonder whether justice or power will ultimately prevail.
You're just like, it's there. I mean, it's not just there.
Yes.
It's everywhere. My news feed is dominated by it.
Yes.
Fox News, CNN, everyone. There's raids at Diddy.
For months, Diddy has been at the center of a media frenzy, facing serious allegations that threaten to dismantle his empire and potentially land him behind bars for decades. The charges against him are as severe as they come, depicting a man who allegedly manipulated, coerced, and orchestrated events that left a trail of trauma in their wake. His September arrest stunned the world, and as the investigation deepened, more disturbing revelations came to light. These included claims of secretive gatherings and allegations of witness tampering. The courtroom battles surrounding Diddy have been explosive, with prosecutors fighting relentlessly to keep him in custody. Now, his defense team has unveiled a bold strategy that could shift the entire narrative. At the heart of this latest legal battle are handwritten notes seized during a raid of Diddy's jail cell at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Prosecutors argued that these notes are a smoking gun, showing Diddy's alleged attempts to influence witnesses and dig up damaging information on his accusers from behind bars. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic has told the court that these notes contained plans to pay off witnesses and instructions for family members to gather harmful details about his alleged victims. For the prosecution, these notes are more than just scribbles. They represent crucial evidence of obstruction, potentially justifying keeping Diddy incarcerated until his trial.
I would imagine if you're the CIA, you're like, okay, we're looking for people who have gone through these things in their life that have curated this kind of like personality type.
Well, isn't it just like part of the gig? Like here's a for instance, like your bit about Puffy.
Diddy's legal team, led by seasoned attorney Mark Agnifilo, is pushing back strongly against the prosecution's claims. They argue that the seizure of the handwritten notes violated Diddy's constitutional rights and breached attorney-client privilege. Agnifilo asserts that the notes were part of private communications between Diddy and his legal team, containing defense strategies and confidential discussions that should have been protected from investigators. During a heated court hearing, Agnifilo stated, "The bottom line is that no multi-agency law enforcement initiative justified rifling through Mr. Combs' personal handwritten notes of conversations with his lawyers," adding that the prosecution's arguments lacked credibility.
Courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, their legal documents, the government's saying no, on the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes and a...
The defense is not just relying on legal rhetoric. They argue the raid violated the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments, claiming the search was unconstitutional. They contend the seized material should never have been shared with the prosecution. The core of their argument is that the notes were obtained during what they describe as an institutional failure, a pretextual sweep disguised as a routine contraband search. Agnifilo has even requested surveillance footage of the raid, suggesting the search may have been specifically targeted at Diddy, rather than part of a broader security operation.
I think it's over.
You think it's over?
I think it's over for him as like a figure in entertainment.
Right. But do you think it's over as him as far as
jail?
like he gets a cell right next to R. Kelly?
I don't think.
The defense's strategy is clear. Undermine the prosecution's credibility by framing the seizure of the notes as a reckless and unlawful overreach. If successful, this could severely damage the prosecution's case. Should the court agree that the notes were improperly obtained, prosecutors may be forced to exclude them as evidence, weakening their claims of obstruction and witness tampering. For Diddy, this could significantly improve his chances of securing bail or even lead to the dismissal of some charges.
If it is privileged, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says, that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days.
The prosecution is holding firm, insisting that the search was lawful and that the notes are fair game. According to Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic, the notes were seized during a planned sweep by the Bureau of Prisons aimed at addressing contraband and substances within the facility. She emphasized that no member of the prosecution team was involved in or responsible for the search, distancing herself and her colleagues from any misconduct allegations. Slavic also rejected the defense's claim of attorney-claimed privilege, arguing that the notes contained to-do lists and writings unrelated to legal advice. A witness was paid off, and finding dirt on two different victims is not privileged, she told the court, asserting that the notes revealed a clear attempt by Diddy to obstruct justice.
So there's a few things going on. First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs.
Okay.
First, of course, he could face obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment.
U.S. District Judge Edward Subramanian, overseeing the case, has taken a cautious approach. While he ordered prosecutors to delete all copies of the seized notes for now, he decided to keep the original documents under court seal until the issue of privilege is resolved. This decision places the notes in legal limbo, with both sides scrambling to make their case. For the defense, it's a small but significant victory, buying them time to argue that the notes should never have been seized. For the prosecution, it's a temporary setback, but one with potentially lasting implications if the court rules in favor of the defense. This legal battle over the notes is just the latest twist in a case already marked by dramatic turns. Earlier this month, prosecutors accused Diddy of using his jail time to orchestrate a public relations campaign aimed at influencing potential jurors. Court documents allege that Diddy instructed his children to post a video on social media wishing him a happy birthday, a move prosecutors described as a calculated attempt to sway public opinion. Additionally, they claim he made numerous calls to potential witnesses using other inmates' phone accounts to avoid detection. These allegations, coupled with the notes found in his cell, paint a picture of someone willing to go to great lengths to manipulate the justice process in his favor.
He doesn't kind of buy what the prosecution's selling. He thinks they've looked at the notes.
Yeah.
He thinks that they're cheating.
I mean, I would think that too.
But apparently, what happened is commonplace.
Despite the damning allegations, Diddy's defense team has focused on flaws in the prosecution's case. Mark Agnifilo has consistently argued that his client's rights were violated, accusing the government of overreach and misconduct. With the judge now scrutinizing the legality of the cell raid, the defense hopes to shift the narrative away from Diddy's alleged actions and towards the government's handling of the case. This strategy aims to undermine the prosecution and potentially sway the outcome in Diddy's favor.
Music business, it's a lot of people.
It's not just the music business. It's like, it's the extortion business.
Well, yeah, I mean, the rap game was crazy. That's a thing a lot of people don't realize is like, back in the day, especially like early rap game, you weren't just going to play at, what's the random theater that you would play in LA?
It's a high-stakes gamble, but one that could pay off if the defense convinces the court that the prosecution's case is built on shaky ground. The controversy over the notes has sparked a broader debate about the limits of law enforcement and the protections afforded to defendants, particularly those with the resources to mount a strong defense. Critics argue that the raid on Diddy's cell raises serious ethical concerns about targeting high-profile defendants, while supporters view it as a necessary step to ensure justice is served, highlighting the tension between fairness and accountability.
People on both sides, right? There's the people on the right that are trying to nail the people that are on the left with this. There's people that are journalists that are trying to nail the people that were involved in this.
This is it, yeah.
And they've managed to keep that list from coming out, which shows you how powerful certain people are. That should show you a lot. That should be...
As the courtroom drama unfolds, one thing is clear. Both sides are determined to win and are not backing down. For Diddy, the stakes couldn't be higher. With his reputation, fortune, and freedom on the line, he has spared no expense in assembling a legal dream team to fight for his corner. For prosecutors, the case is a chance to hold a powerful figure accountable for what they describe as years of unchecked wrongdoing. It's a battle of titans, with the outcome likely to shape not only Diddy's future, but also the broader conversation around justice and accountability for the rich and famous.
That's what people were saying, and maybe everybody's a conspiracy theorist now, but that's what people were saying about the Diddy situation. Like when the feds rolled up, with the Hummers and shit, they were like, it wasn't about Diddy, it was about if there were tapes of powerful people there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
They were the ones that called. They're like, I need to protect myself, so go in there with all the things and rip any tapes or anything.
The tension in the courtroom is palpable, with every argument, objection, and ruling carrying the weight of a trial that has captivated the public's attention. While the legal wrangling over the notes may seem like a procedural sideshow, it could become a pivotal moment in a case that has defied expectations at every turn. As the judge prepares to rule on the issue of privilege, all eyes are on Diddy and his defense team, waiting to see if their latest gambit will be enough to tip the scales in their favor. Yet, despite the legal maneuvering, the shadow of the allegations themselves looms large over the case. The questions about Diddy's conduct and the testimonies of those who have accused him remain at the heart of this unfolding saga. This sets the stage for what promises to be a trial like no other, one that could reshape public views on justice, power, and accountability.
That Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof of anything other than...
The story of Shah Diddy Combs takes a darker turn as prosecutors label it one of the most disturbing cases to rock the entertainment industry in years. While Diddy's legal team focuses on fighting over notes and procedural violations, the attention is increasingly turning to the core of the allegations against him. The picture emerging is anything but glamorous. For decades, Diddy was celebrated as the king of parties, the man who could turn any event into the most exclusive, talked-about gathering in Hollywood. Now, those same high-profile events are under intense scrutiny, with prosecutors and accusers claiming they served as a backdrop for a disturbing pattern of behavior that went far beyond mere indulgence. What was once whispered about in industry circles is now being exposed to the public.
Someone said that they weren't there to take stuff, they were there to delete everything. Like the real people that were in there,
Oh,
like
that's
the same
funny.
thing with Epstein.
The so-called breakoffs have become a focal point in the case. Private late-night gatherings that reportedly followed Diddy's high-profile parties. These events were legendary, shrouded in secrecy, and attended by some of Hollywood's biggest names, with celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lopez, Beyoncé, and Jay-Z often photographed at Diddy's public parties. However, according to court documents and witness statements, the real action didn't begin until the red carpet was rolled up and the cameras stopped flashing. Sources describe these after-hour gatherings as a completely different kind of affair, where the usual rules didn't just bend, they vanished entirely. Attendees were allegedly hand-picked by Diddy himself, and the guest list was so exclusive that even some of the most famous faces in the world were left wondering what truly transpired behind closed doors.
Of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers.
What makes these allegations even more disturbing is the meticulous planning behind these events. Prosecutors claim that Diddy didn't just throw parties, he orchestrated them like high-budget productions, complete with assistants, security teams, and detailed instructions to ensure everything went according to plan. Witnesses have described hotel suites stocked with lavish decor and supplies that leave little to the imagination. While some guests may have attended for the music and atmosphere, others allege they were pressured or manipulated into participating in activities they never agreed to. These accusations have sparked outrage, especially considering the power dynamics at play. When someone as influential as Diddy invites you to a party, saying no isn't always as simple as it sounds.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
One of the most chilling aspects of this case is the sheer number of individuals who have come forward, each with their own account of what transpired at these gatherings. Attorney Tony Busby, representing over 120 people, has been vocal about the broad scope of the allegations. He has even sent demand letters to celebrities who attended these events, warning them that their silence could make them complicit. According to Busby, if you were there and saw what was happening and didn't speak up, you're just as responsible as those who orchestrated it. His words have sent shockwaves through Hollywood, with many celebrities now scrambling to distance themselves from Diddy and his infamous parties.
He tells the stories like, I saw her go upstairs, and these dudes are like right on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I go in this room, and these guys are It's like,
and pros. Like, apparently he was getting male gigolos to girls.
girls.
Yeah, that was one of the rumors, like the
Male
freak off. So he would
gigolos.
hire the professional to have with the girls, and I think he would watch.
While some remain silent, others have begun to share their experiences, either in support of the accusers or to defend themselves. Ashton Kutcher, for example, has admitted to attending Diddy's parties in the past, but insists he never witnessed anything inappropriate. "I've got a lot I can't tell," he said during an interview, adding, "I'm actually cycling through them Diddy party stories, man. That was some weird memory lane thing." Similarly, Ice Cube clarified during a recent concert that he had never attended one of Diddy's after-hour gatherings, saying, "You ain't got to worry about us on those tapes." Meanwhile, others, like 50 Cent, have openly criticized Diddy's behavior, with the rapper stating, "I've been very vocal about not going to those kinds of parties. It's just an uncomfortable energy."
Okay, so then there's the question. It's like, can you take a completely normal person, give them power, and then they become that? Or does it take a power-hungry person that has this void that needs to be filled, and then when they are given that power, you see the worst version of them?
Ask your CIA boy. I bet he's got the answers. I bet he knows the exact formula.
To corrupting somebody
Yeah.
or to...
What happens? Like what happens?
Not everyone in Hollywood is rushing to clear their names. Some have chosen to remain tight-lipped, fueling speculation about who knew what and when. However, there are those who have come forward with stories that seem to confirm the worst of the allegations. One particularly damning account comes from a woman named Tenna Wallace, who claims she was flown to one of Diddy's events by a Saudi businessman. According to Wallace, the party was unlike anything she had ever seen, with attendees engaging in activities she found deeply unsettling. Her most shocking claim was that she saw individuals who appeared to be far too young to be there, surrounded by adults in an inappropriate setting. Diddy's legal team has denied Wallace's testimony, questioning her credibility and dismissing her claims as baseless. The allegations against Diddy have also revived attention to other lawsuits and accusations that have surfaced over the years. One of the most notable cases involves Cassandra Ventura, better known as Cassie, who filed a civil suit against Diddy last year. In her lawsuit, Cassie alleges that she endured years of emotional and physical abuse during her relationship with the music mogul. While Diddy initially denied these claims, a video later surfaced that appeared to show him physically attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway. The footage quickly went viral, and many saw it as a turning point in the case, giving other accusers the courage to come forward with their own stories.
Man, I ain't gonna lie.
Among the new accusers is Talia Graves, who claims she was restrained and assaulted by Diddy in the early 2000s. Graves alleges that Diddy recorded the encounter without her consent and later showed the footage to others, a claim his legal team has yet to publicly address. These allegations, combined with mounting evidence from other accusers, have painted a troubling picture of someone who allegedly used his wealth and influence to control and exploit those around him. While Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all charges, the sheer volume of accusations has made it increasingly difficult for him to maintain his innocence in the court of public opinion.
Oh, man, I just had like a 3.5 hour cry.
What makes this case even more complex is the potential involvement of other celebrities, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Photos and videos have surfaced showing Diddy alongside some of Hollywood's biggest names, including Usher, Kim Kardashian, and Paris Hilton. While it remains unclear how many of these individuals were aware of the allegations or involved in the events described, their association with Diddy has raised questions about the culture of silence surrounding powerful figures in the entertainment industry. As attorney Tony Busby put it, this isn't just about one man. This is about a system that allowed this kind of behavior to continue for years without anyone stepping in to stop it. The broader implications of this case are hard to ignore. For many, it's a stark reminder of the power imbalances that exist in industries like music and film, where success often depends on who you know and what you're willing to tolerate. It also serves as a wake-up call for those who have turned a blind eye to the darker side of celebrity culture, focusing more on the glitz and glamour than on the people who may have been harmed along the way. For Diddy, This moment of reckoning could not only alter his life, but also reshape the lives of those who have been affected by his alleged actions.
Is he going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70. That's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway.
As the trial approaches, the stakes couldn't be higher. Diddy's legal team is working tirelessly to discredit the allegations and undermine the prosecution's case, while accusers and their attorneys are determined to see justice served. The world will be watching, not just to see whether Diddy is found guilty or innocent, but to understand what this case reveals about accountability, privilege, and the pursuit of justice in a world where fame and fortune often seem to outweigh the truth.
Responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that. He put that gun back.
As the courtroom battle intensifies, the question remains, can Diddy truly escape the shadow of these allegations? Despite his wealth and influence, public opinion appears to be shifting against him, with many former loyal fans now questioning the man behind the brand. Regardless of whether he is found guilty, the damage to his reputation may already be done, leaving a legacy far more complicated than the one he spent decades building. The story unfolding around Diddy is about much more than one individual. It's about power, accountability, and the people who are finally finding the courage to speak out. While the trial's outcome is still uncertain, the impact of these revelations is likely to be felt for years. The scandal raises broader questions about celebrity culture, the intersection of fame and power, and the systems that enable such behavior.
There are a lot
The
of strong
story
opinions
unfolding
about this
around
case,
Diddy
and
is about much more than one individual. It's about power, accountability, and the people who are finally finding the courage to speak out. While the trial's outcome is still uncertain, the impact of these revelations is likely to be felt for years. The scandal raises broader questions about celebrity culture, the intersection of fame and power, and the systems that enable such behavior.